I just want to comment on the heads-up display. It's actually fairly well done. It's large enough to where you can see it and everything, but it's not overly distracting or anything like that. You do have to go into the sub-menu on the system in order to make adjustments, but it's not a big deal. You can actually do it while you're driving if you had to, but it's good to set it up before you start driving. Now, it does give you turn-by-turn directions up there, as well as the status of the lane keep assist system, and it has the ProPilot. There's two different ProPilots, and it shows you the information there, because on the green ProPilot will be just like a regular lane keep assist system or hands-on system. But the blue, like it turns blue, little steering wheel and everything, and that way it's a hands-off system on certain roads. So it's pretty interesting. It's color-coded, and it gives you, relevant information without it's not going overboard, but it's also not distracting to me anyway. I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and I have the driver's seat all the way back and all the way down to show you the potential legroom here, which is unbelievable. It's lots and lots of space. And when you adjust the seats, it'll show here on the screen what you're doing, because there's a lot of buttons and you might get confused. So it basically shows you precisely what you're doing in that moment. Got your bolsters there, including the massage as well. So the steering wheel, very impressed with it. It's nice and thick here and open here on the bottom. And it has like this little, once again, flowing design here and here. And it is a little soft, so it has this very comfortable feel to it all the way around. And I like the thickness, because a thick steering wheel doesn't dig into your hands while you're gripping it. And it's soft in addition to that, and it's quite round. It has the stitching here on the inside, but it's not the type that protrude out and is bothersome. This is actually nice and round. It has a little texture to it, but it's not really a big deal. The paddle shifters here on the back are there in case you want to manually change the gears. And here's the cruise control here on the left, but you see right below it is the volume for the radio. So that bottom part is for the radio. So the change to the tracks here, the volume here on the left side. So you can see it's disconnected from the top part. Top part is the cruise control. And so you have to, the only thing about this cruise control is you have to turn it on here and then you set it. So it's 2 steps instead of just simply 1 step, But once you set it, you can resume by going up. You can resume by going up or down. So if you want to set to another speed, you have to hit the set button again. So it's a little bit different than other systems. It took me a little while to get used to it. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. And then there's cancel here at the top. Now during the ProPilot, hands-off ProPilot, you can press this button to change lanes. So you can press the button and then, to use your turn signal, it'll change lanes for you. And it's a hands-off system, and it seems to be pretty solid. Now, the regular system on narrow roads, I don't really like it because it's a little bit bothersome. I don't really care for it, but on open highways is where it really works well. And then you can set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you right here for the adaptive cruise control system. Here on the right side, it actually has this little scroll wheel that's angled, kind of like a 45-degree angle. It kind of lines up with your thumb. And you have these arrows and all that stuff. This corresponds with the screen. Matter of fact, this corresponds with both of these screens. You can choose what screen you want to use, this one or that one. So you can toggle to the right side, now you're controlling that screen. Toggle to the left side, now you're controlling that screen. And you have a left, right, you can press in on the scroll wheel, and you also have a back button here. There's the voice recognition as well. We'll get to that in a second. Windshield wipers front and rear are located here, and it does have the rain sensing system. Here on the left side is the turn signal. It also has the headlight switch and the auto high beams. You can toggle those on or off. They seem to work fine. So there's the off, parking, headlights, and then automatic there. And it shows you here on the screen what you're doing. Okay, so right now I have the regular, like a dial type view on the gauge cluster. And in the settings, that's called a meter view. So you can change the meter view if you'd like. So right now it has a digital speedometer, and you have the regular, simulated little dial there. There's the fuel gauge with the distance to empty. Here on the right side is the tachometer or RPM gauge. There's the odometer, how many miles the vehicle has. The status of the suspension system. It has a high mode, it has a low mode for entering and exiting. This is the automatic four-wheel drive system. And the information there in the center is, quickly you can scroll through and get different information here using the little scroll wheel. You can see the little bubbles here on the side showing that this part has different options. Now if I scroll to the right, you can see that it has like an image there in the background which you can customize. But let's go here to the right and left. So you can see it's part of a menu system. Little icons pop up. That's the home screen, and there's your different options on the home screen, that one or that one, which is nothing basically. The next one is this different information here, fuel economy and stuff, the status of the height of the vehicle, that kind of stuff is here. Scroll to the right again. The next one will be the, it's telling you how much fuel you're saving using the idle stop. So 152 milliliters. It's a very, very small amount. All right, scroll up and down with this. And you see where the power is going with the all-wheel drive system. It's almost always going in the rear wheels. And here is the, this is the status of the wheel pressure, the tire pressure basically. All right, scrolling to the right again. This will be the navigation. And when you have different views, it makes this wider so the navigation can get bigger. You scroll down here, and this is the digital compass. The next one would be your status of the radio, whatever's playing on the radio. Next one would be your roadside information there. Status of the lane keep, the forward collision warning, the blind spot detection system, and lane keep assist system. And this is also the status while you're driving. It'll show you, you know, if there's a vehicle in front of you, that stuff, and that kind of stuff. Speed limit sign once again. All right, going to the right, this is where your settings. So this is where you can go in here and set it up. So you can adjust your heads-up display, your driver assist systems. You can go in here and adjust any one of these. Let's go back out of that. Heads-up display adjustments, eco mode setting, tire pressure, turn the clock on or off, and vehicle settings here. Now we go into the lighting. Let's show you what the lighting looks like here. You can have it beep the horn when you lock the doors, that kind of stuff. I immediately turn that kind of stuff off. You can go, there's maintenance and stuff like that, but customize display, this is what I was getting to. Hit that, and then you have change meter view. And then you have, right now we have it elegant. Let's go to dynamic. Kind of different looking. And enhanced is more of a minimalized look here. Alright. Main menu selection, so we can choose, well, if we don't want any of these things scrolling through on the main menu, we can uncheck those basically. You can also have the ProPilot Assist display turned on or off. So now I have it in this kind of more minimal look on the gauges. When we scroll through, you can see it gives you information in different places here. It's pretty neat. Let's go ahead and turn on the navigation map. You can see it's bigger now that I have it in this more minimal view. So if we want to have the navigation on this screen, this is a better view in my opinion. So this screen over here is you can see it's a very small separation there. So it's kind of a continuous image from that side to the other for the most part. There's also a camera display that uses both screens as well. But we press this right button here, and now we're controlling this screen. So we can scroll around and make certain selections. Now this is a touch screen, so it's not a big deal to, you know, as you're driving if you want to make a selection, but you know, for me it's easier to just basically use the touch screen. So this is the home button here, and you see these different views here. You can scroll through and it has these widgets. It's easy to get to here. And navigation map, let's go ahead and go to that. You can do different searches. This is a Google system. It has the you-know-what Google system, so you can use your voice to, you know, make searches and stuff like that as well. The next one is the audio. So there's different audio sources: AM, FM, satellite radio, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Bluetooth, and then you have the USB ports there. There's also Amazon Alexa and Spotify as well as apps. The next one is pairing your phone. So once you pair the phone, you have access to everything here. There's the home button. You also have the, you see there's the different phone options there. They're ones that's already been paired, and you can of course connect Wi-Fi and vehicle hotspot. Now Wi-Fi is really good because you can also download the files off of the integrated dash cam, which we'll get to in a second. All right, so this one is this is the Hey Google system. So you can see it does a pretty good job.
According to Wikipedia, the system is an American synth-pop duo that debuted in the 1980s.
I don't know what that's talking about. All right, so this next one here, there's the integrated dash cam. All right, so I have the shade over this, over here, so it's getting like a big reflection here. But there's the front and rear views, and you could take a photo and all that stuff. It also has the inside camera here as well, which the shade is covering up some of it. And then we can go into the settings here. There is a lot of different things that you can set up here in the settings. So you definitely want to take your time when you first get this vehicle and go through all the settings and fine-tune it as best you can. You might have to do some more adjustments to the settings, but there's a lot of stuff. So this one has a really impressive sound system. So when you go into the sound settings, it has, of course, bass, middle, treble, that kind of stuff. It has this DJX surround system. And when you have that turned on, it'll use these speakers in the headrests more. Because sometimes it just doesn't use them. They're just there in case you get like a phone call or something like that. And then it directs it directly to the, you can have it set up to where individual audio settings, to where it has the navigation and the phone directly to the driver and not to everybody. You can have that set up if you want. But if you want to have a little bit of sound coming from the headrest, the DJX 3D surround system is pretty impressive. It kind of helps out with all the making it sound amazing. It already sounds so good. It's a really good sound system. Very impressive. And like I said, there's a link in the description that's going to have all the specs and details and everything for the vehicle, sound system, everything, dash cam, everything is going to be in that link. So there's a volume for the radio, change to the tracks here for the radio as well. It's kind of, not easy to reach or whatever, so you do have to use the steering wheel controls, but it's kind of in the middle. Even the passenger has a hard time reaching it, but it is kind of cool, I guess, the way it's in that it looks good anyway. So this has the gear shifter here. I'll get to the screen in a second. Four-way flashes are here, and then it has the gear shifters here. So it's simply just pressing a button. And so there's park, reverse, parking sensors will turn on, camera will turn on, neutral, and then drive. And when you put it in drive, if you press the drive button again, it'll go into manual mode, and you can use the paddle shifters, and it'll show you what gear you're in right there. And you can just put it back in park here. This is where you can select the automatic height of the vehicle, depending on the terrain. And then if you need to go to the camera, you just press that button. And let's go ahead and show you the camera system now. So when I press the camera button, if I press it one time, it's going to show one of the camera views. But I can keep pressing it to cycle through the different views that we have here on the screen. So right now the vehicle's in park. I don't have it in reverse, drive, or anything like that. So just want to show you where we're at, because this will be more important when I show you some other views. So this is the 3D view, and we can actually kind of see the vehicle, which we could change the color if we want, and we can see what's directly around the vehicle. And you can see those lines, represent the width, including the side mirrors. And you can see around very well. It does a really good job of, representing everything around the vehicle, very clear and high clarity, and just natural looking. It just looks really good. Today's a really cloudy day, so it's able to still pick up, even with this lower light, how all the details and everything around the vehicle. And you can have these quick views here, like so, if you get disoriented, I guess. But you could just grab it and move it around. So that's the 3D view. It's helpful in certain scenarios. So let's go here to this is probably the normal view that you would see in most vehicles, where it has a top-down view, and then it shows the front view. Since we're in drive, it's showing the front view. If we put it in reverse, it'll show you the reverse view. So I'll show you that right now. So you can see the active guidelines. As I turn the steering wheel, it shows where the vehicle is going to go, and then you can see the active guidelines there, with also a center line as well. And you can see, I don't know if you can tell, that it has the tire track here and here separate from the width of the vehicle. So it shows you the tire track, shows you the center, and all that stuff. Now that red line is showing you basically, you don't want to get any closer to that, because that's like super close. It looks far, but it's actually very close, because this is kind of like a wide angle view. Alright, so let's put it in drive. When we put it in drive, it'll show the front view. Now there's this second view right here where it shows the front view with the active guidelines, but also shows the side of the vehicle. So it's actually removing the vehicle and only showing you the side. So that's the front tire there. So as I turn the steering wheel, you can see the wheels turn, so we can get a precise view right where the wheels are. So if we're getting close to something, we can avoid hitting it, but if we need to get really close, we can keep an eye on it, that kind of thing. This next view right here is very interesting, and that's the reason why I wanted to show you where I'm at, because this is the front of the vehicle, but it's actually showing you both ways. So it's actually, it's so well done as far as not looking too distorted that it's kind of confusing sometimes when you first see it. So I'm pulled up to that curb, and it makes that curb, it just shows both ways, like to right and left. So if you're pulling out of a parking space, or if there's a wall or some kind of barrier and you can't see, this gives you that view right in front of the vehicle. Like right where that camera is the very tip of the vehicle in front. And so you can see around corners and stuff. Excellent idea, and it works really well. Some vehicles have this, especially in backup cameras, but it's a little bit distorted, looks a little bit weird. This one actually looks so well done. It's a little distorted there in the center, but man, is it just well done here in the front. And then there's this next view. It's called invisible hood view. I think it's something like that. So right now you can see under the vehicle is a shadow. But you can see the tires, and you can see the angle of the tires as I turn. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put it in reverse. So we're going to have a different view here for a second. But so I can get away from this curve. This is required to do this. Alright, so let's go back to this invisible hood view right here. So it was able to get enough information to estimate what's underneath the vehicle. So as I move, it's taking a view, kind of recording a view in front of the vehicle and then passing it under as I drive to kind of just give me, you can see it's a little bit disconnected, but it gives you a general idea of what's underneath the vehicle now. And as you're going slow, you see that line. You can see it's generally straight. It's a little bit distorted, but you can get an idea of where the angle of the tire and what's certainly on the outside, but underneath the vehicle too a little bit, just to give you some context. And it's kind of representing an invisible hood, like you're looking through the vehicle. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So now check this out. If we hit this button right here, this expanding button, it expands the view across the complete screen here. Basically, there's a little divider here. It's actually two screens, but across both of these screens is the view. So as we're driving, we can see a really big expanded view of what we just looked at. Thought that was pretty cool. Now, it's not like you're driving fast. This is for like off-road, like a tight parking spot, something like that. If you go too fast, then this view will go away. You can't really like rely on this for driving around fast or anything. It's not like you're on the highway looking at this or anything. But yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. It does a decent job of just kind of filling in what's underneath the vehicle. But yeah, get that view all the way across. You can do the same thing with this view here, but it's basically just showing you what's in front of the vehicle. So it's still kind of very useful, but it's kind of not quite as fun as this one right here. Let's see. Let's go to this. Yeah, that's the one we saw. All right, let's go back here. So yeah. There's that front view, and okay, so yeah, so this one all the way across from one side to the other, we can get a good view. So this is that really wide shot. So it makes make it to where you can see both ways. So I'm going to pull back up to this curb so you can see what I'm talking about. It's that original view that as we pull up, we can see both ways in front of the vehicle. You're able to expand that as well. And here's another cool feature. So like right here is, look, you can drop a pin basically on the GPS. And what it'll do is this camera view will pop up. Let's say you have a favorite parking spot, and you park there regularly, and you want a particular view when you get to that parking spot, so you can nail the parking spot and make sure you're in there, you know, precisely or whatever. Well, you can choose the view that you want, and then you can drop this pin, and then as you get close to that parking spot, it'll go up and pull up that parking view, whatever view that you want, and then it'll give you the ability to, you know, pull in there properly and everything. I thought it was pretty neat. It's this one right here. You have that ability, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's the only one that gives you that view. So yeah, you can drop a pin basically for that particular view. So this really wide view, you can drop a pin for that, and then you can make this wider if you want. Okay, so I'm pulling back into that spot where I was. So as we get close to it, it should pop up that view. Since we weren't there, and now we're getting close to it, let's see what happens. There it goes. It sensed that we were getting close to that spot that we were at, and it pops up that camera view that I had dropped the pin on. Nice. So it has an integrated dash cam, and it does the front, in front of the vehicle, behind the vehicle. There's also an inside camera as well. So you can record audio and video, basically in all these different locations. It comes integrated with the system, the actual footage. I got it on a high bit rate. You can change the bit rate to, you know, high or low or medium. So it has different levels there. Plus you can choose how many minutes you would like to record. So like if you want to record just 1 minute or whatever, also record on impact and all that stuff. So yeah, it seems like a pretty advanced integrated, like an actual integrated dash cam. This vehicle has a mirror, like a regular mirror, and it also has a camera. And so the camera system is designed to where if there's, you know, the visibility behind this vehicle is pretty decent, but if you have a lot of passengers and all that stuff, and there's all these headrests in the way, and you have cargo piled up, this camera is a lifesaver because you can see directly behind the vehicle. So really done. So it has this full menu system here. So you can choose brightness, you can choose to go up and down. So let's go back up to brightness. I can show you the different brightness levels here. So you can go up pretty good. And let's go down here. You can go into the negative numbers as well. The center range is pretty good, is pretty decent. Let's go down here to up and down. Now we can, I like to pull it down because it's already a tall vehicle. So you can see you could look at the trees if you want for whatever reason. But bringing it down lower is more convenient. I bring it all the way down because it is a high vehicle. I want to see, like, you know, directly behind the vehicle. So, you know, having that ability to do that is really good. You also have a rotation. So let's say, so if it just doesn't look level to you, it just doesn't look right, you can, you know, just give a little bit of adjustment there to make it look better for your eyes. And let's go. Indication, let's go ahead and, so the indication, if you turn it on, it's going to have alerts here on the screen. So you can turn that on or off. It could be blind spot alerts, it could be, you know, a variety of different things. And so let's go here, make sure that that is on. And then let's go down here to the dimming mirror, which is this part, auto dimming mirror. You can change that on or off in this little menu. You can change the language, and then we can view the license here. That's kind of interesting. So it has like a full license for the software in the smart mirror. A lot of information there. But yeah, it was pretty neat. But it's very handy. Having a mirror that's just a camera is good, but this one is a smart mirror, so it's got a lot more features than a normal camera system. So this separate screen below the main screen is intended to
separate some features down here, so it's not getting in the way of the infotainment screen. So it is mostly climate, and so you can go here to front, rear, and it has like a tactile. When you press it, you kind of have to press it. You can't just, it's not like like your cell phone where you just touch it. You have to actually press it, and it has like a little vibration feel when you press the button. So there's the front climate control, and you can adjust the fan speed, temperature, where you want the air to blow, all that stuff. You also have heated and cooled seats, 3-stage, driver and passenger. And then the front rear defrosters, all that. You do have an automatic climate control as well. You can turn the climate control off here. You can recirculate the air automatically there if you'd like. And in the rear, it's basically the same thing. It has heated and cooled seats back in the second row seats, which is amazing. And you also have this mode button, which you have a lot more functionality. You have the ability to raise up the vehicle. You can have it lower down in the access mode. There's also an auto button down here as well for automatically letting the vehicle choose what height is best. You also have your 4-wheel drive high and your auto 4-wheel drive buttons. Traction control off, default will be on. Then you have your drive modes here as well. So you can have one that you can personalize, change the steering feel, the ride quality, the acceleration, that kind of stuff. You have an eco mode, sport, tow mode, and then a snow mode. So this will be accelerating slowly, keep you from spinning tires. But standard is actually pretty good. It's not overly slow or anything like that. All of them have their uses, but standard is actually pretty good. Some vehicles, the standard mode isn't very good, and then I have to switch to sport mode, and then there's problems with that. So this one actually has a really good standard mode just for everyday driving.
Okay, so this area here, this is the cup holder area. And has 2 cup holders, has little articulating arms here that hold the cups and bottles and stuff. And there's a rubber floor at the bottom, so if you put stuff in there, it's not going to slide around as much. This also opens up, and this is where you'll find a wireless cell phone charger. And there's a felt-lined area. There's also USB-C ports here as well. But there is, you can see there, I just turned the lights on so you can see they're illuminated. But when you put the cell phone in there's no indicator that it's charging. You just gotta assume that it's charging. It seems to work fine, but it'd be nice to have some kind of light to verify that it's actually charging somewhere, just to let me know, because there's been times where I thought my phone was charging and I get to my destination and my phone is half dead and I needed that battery power, so having that certainty is good. It also has this this rubber piece that you can take out, clean it, put it back in, which helps out if you accidentally drop something down in there. You can kind of slide this out and get it out. So yeah, it works pretty good. I mean, it's a decent system here, and it seems to work fine. I mean, even with my cell phone case, it seems to work. But I just wish there was some, verification light or something like that. Also, if you're resting your arm there, it's very easy to hit it and open these up. Alright, so this is kind of rubbery soft. It's not super soft, it's not cushy soft, it's like feeling a tire, it's kind of rubbery soft. And this lifts up, and it has this little storage cubby right here, which is rubberized in the bottom. But this is a little cool box. They call it a cool box. And basically it just directs air conditioning in there. It does a good job. It's not like a full refrigerator or anything. It does have a seal here at the top. And it is like a hard plastic there on the inside. So it works as a storage compartment, but also a cool box at the same time. But I wish I had a light or something in there. Above the rear view mirror, there is a place to put your shades, and it has like a felt lining, like a real nice feeling felt all the way here and here on the back side as well. The interior lights, you can turn them all on with this button here. You can also, if you tap the lights themselves, it says like a little reading light. You can have the lights turn on with the door or not by having that selected. You do have a roadside assistance button right here. If you press that, it opens up the little door, and then you can press that button underneath it. And then these are the shade buttons for the sunroof shade, and then the sunroof itself here on the left side. We'll get to that in a second. This little thing right here is an infrared sensor, and basically it's able to tell the heat signatures for people. It's like they call it a biometric climate control. So basically, if you get, let's say you pick up somebody who's been playing sports or whatever, and they sit back there, then it senses that person's hotter than everybody else that's been not playing sports, sitting in the car nice and cool, and basically it'll direct more cool air and colder air to them. So that's what it claims anyway. So that's the little sensor for that. There's the inside camera, and then right on the other side is the exterior camera. The visor is it's kind of like a simulated suede material, just like the headliner here. Has a little clip right here. There's a mirror with a light, kind of small mirror. It does slide out on a metal rod here. And you can see it has a speaker here and a microphone here. So this shade covers 100% of the light. So let's go ahead and pull it back using the right switch. It'll stop about halfway. Press it again, and it goes the rest of the way back. There we go. So this back portion is fixed. The front portion moves. Let's go ahead and tilt it up. Pull it back down. Now we slide it back. Pull it back again. Goes back a little bit further, actually. All right, pull it forward. And we'll go ahead and move the shade. Can't move the shade and that at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and do the shade now. Press it again to go all the way forward. So looking at the visibility here in the back, it does have headrests that get in the way. It does have pillars and stuff like that. But overall, hasn't really been a problem with driving this vehicle. It is, of course, supplemented by all the technology that the vehicle has, and I rely on the technology as well. But, you know, just kind of looking out the side mirrors, looking over my shoulder, I can confirm and see around the vehicle fairly well. Now, these front pillars, you can see it's kind of wide here on the passenger side. Wide, and there's no space between that and the side mirror. So on this side, has a little tiny space, but still these pillars are quite wide with a speaker and the pillar and all that stuff, and you know, all that. So it's something to get used to. You don't want to, you know, you just don't want to take it for granted. You definitely want to, you know, check everywhere, because these are the pillars that most people they underestimate the amount of stuff that can hide behind these pillars. They're mostly worried about the back ones, but these are very important to make sure, like say you stop it completely at a stop sign, that kind of stuff, because otherwise things can hide behind these pillars.